Hi guys, thank you for tuning in tonight, or maybe it's the next morning by the time this gets up. I'm talking about a discussion with one of my comrades. He's my closest confidant that I have to talking about anything, and he's very honest, and there's no reason for me to think that he had any reason to be dishonest with what I was telling him to do was basically write about me and give me some exposure. And if he could do that on his own or even as an employee of mine, I would really appreciate that. So that was his job in all this. But then we got to talking about my big money schemes, and this is just one of them. The Santa Ana Maria, the Wright Venture, Magellan, and Chameleon Columbus are all UN 42 commissioned vessels. They're Seawolf Galaxies, and they're designed to carry 3 pairs of, that is a 3 submarine hunter killer class with them. That's a 3rd, an 8th, and a 12th, the size of a regular UN 42, and you carry that on both sides of you. It's just boats that are basically the same but smaller and automated. And you also carry a dual destroyer. You have a destroyer on both sides that's only at the surface, and it's unmanned, and it just basically drops staff charges and fires torpedoes. And if it had the ability to fire a sea lance or a harpoon, it would make it all the more effective. So this is the discussion. It's about an hour and a half long, and mostly with my own recordings. This should be about an hour and 40 minutes. Do nothing to wait for the next breath. So I'm God and prepared to hire you simply for camaraderie and transport. And that could... Sorry, that's the end. We'll get to that.
Kelly,
Where I tell you I'm God.
every time someone sorted, this company would sort the same amount, the exact same trade. They do the exact same trade as people. And so this company has accumulated 203,324 digits of currency doing this. And I'm sorry to say, it's evil when you think that you've done something right, that it's so right, you can't have done anything wrong. Well, this is what they did wrong. They blocked the transcribers from reporting as the trade has even happened to the SEC. And so they blocked the report of the trade except to anyone but the broker. And when the broker came to get the trade, they knew who had done the trade was on the opposite side. And so it would just be a case where the broker had a separate book of the trade where people were blocked from being notified that there was even a short put on. Normally the SEC is notified when a short gets put on. But what these traders who made this 203,324 units of value were doing was shorting the stock and then erasing the notification out of thin air. They were erasing a notification that was created, absolutely created on one end by a transmission line, but it never got.
Is this your complaint, whistleblower complaint about FINRA to FINRA?
This is what made me the 15,000 digits of currency. It's in explaining that what happened is our machine that made 203,324 zeros of money plucked a bit out of thin air and caused it to not exist. So the computer was responsible for erasing the bits of this transmitted message from existing, and that was its only reason to be on Earth. It was a computer from 1975 and updated probably in 2008, and then in 2012. Well, it's an old cray. It basically never stops being able to communicate about money, and it's now lining the pockets of everybody. Like me, I'm getting 15,000 digits of value for opening up the safe that this computer is operating my machinery on. They operated my strategic fund operable machinery. I'm probably still going to do the same signals that I normally do. And now that I know that I'm responsible for making 203,324 digits of money, even if they were doing these things with their shorts, they had enough money to do that. No one's telling me that their returns are and that frankly they don't matter. There's still $500 billion that has to get distributed to brokers over the years who were hurt by the SEC lack of enforcement. So it's an SEC bonus, but I don't see an SEC returning any of these funds or capital to the brokers they're intended for, because some of these brokers, I guess, just ate the law, figuring the clients would stay with them, but most of them never did. Once the shorts started, basically everyone would leave, and all they'd have on is an account with short shares in it. And, the brokers didn't make anybody have short shares needed in the company. It's going bankrupt because there's too many firms with short shares accounts in them. And it used to be a short account. You could collect the money immediately, same day. And it was like that for a long time during the 20s and 30s. You could still do this. But this machine, I'm not sure would really have been operated much differently had they known anyway. I mean, it lost $500 billion and made 200,000 digits. You know what I'm saying, Tommy?
I hear you.
And all it was doing was replicating people's short orders. Like, it was saying every time there's a sale for the last price.
If and then.
Every time there's a sale and the last price is at the bid price, sell short, is what the thing is.
I hear it. It's a simple computer language.
No, it did that since 1975, this person's account. And then I guess in 2007, 2008, 2009, and picked up by Clarence Arbitrage and made mega bank in the next period. Yeah, I estimate people could have made over 1,000,000%, and then someone put in 10 to the 200. So, I'm worried I have to.
It's interesting what a little if and then statement can do.
There's no if and then statement that's a symbol of what exactly that means. If there isn't any, is the data set going to be up 70% of the data from 160 days from now? Is it low enough to buy? And when we sell, is 95% of the data going to be below this point in the next 160 days? And that's
it's literally the basis for AI.
Yeah, it's something that has an AI viewpoint, but mostly nobody knows.
Well, you create a listener and you tell the watcher, if the listener hears this, then do this, and you automate the world. It's easy. Yep. It's not complicated. It's just the ability to grasp.
Your command specifies how to do a type of work as your request to a computer. Here's what the station says: give me all patents. That was Bitcoin's first. Give me all patents.
Mm-hmm.
It understood. Give me all patents.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can teach it. You can teach it to learn what is already out there. Anyways.
Yep, it will always take seconds to respond in Hawking. Yeah. It will always take 2 seconds for a Hawking computer that's talking to you, Tommy. Like if you never use the computer light goes, Neuralink. They say you use it every day, Tony, the same light that I use.
I don't know. I don't have any wires in my head, I don't think.
They're not wires, dude. They're computer technology. It's meant to read real smart brain scans of people who are unable to think with self-conscious thought. They're for people like Stephen Hawking, who's like
Stephen Hawking.
But he couldn't speak, you know. But if he'd have had time, he'd have been able to sing with his inner voice.
But he had something implanted in him.
No, he spoke with his fingers. He was
Yeah,
able
he had his little control there. Yeah, I know how Hawkins did it.
Hawking figured out how to type every letter with his fingers and then tell someone how to read his handwriting.
Yeah.
As they were basically handwritten.
But Neuralink is different, Beau.
Yeah,
Neuralink is based on an implant.
No. Neuralink is not an implant, Thomas. Neuralink is a natural wave vibration in our head that reveals all what we're about to do, what we think we're about to do, what we're subconsciously doing, what we're unconsciously doing, and what we're subconsciously thinking about, what we're unconsciously thinking about. And it keeps track of all those things in your head. It just is a resounding way to spend your day talking to your computer. But anyway, I guess you're not doing that. But you probably have no use to it.
I'm used to plenty of voices in my head, Beau. I don't need any more.
Touche. And then, what was the weight of that shit?
What's that?
What was the weight of that? Was that like 0.1 or 0.2?
No, I don't know what you're talking about, Beau, and this isn't something to talk about. I don't know how much more it weighs, dude.
I'll forget I said anything. That's
So you were telling me about something, a voyage on the Santa Maria or something like that.
Santa Ana Maria. Santa, because it's Santa Ana, Anita's. It's the Santa Anita. It's the big prize of the Anita. It was the Santa Anita that crashed and carried 21,630,000, bringing us 25 pounds of gold and 5,640,327 ounces of pounds of silver. Pounds, it's measured in pounds. You got 5 million pounds of silver and 21 million pounds of gold. And going on the million, Columbus, and Santa Ana Maria. Right next to Magellan. I don't know. It's commanding 3, so I have to sorry, but we have to get down there. Just got to get back a long way with a shit ton of weight and tonnage. I'm glad I upgraded the fuel rod with this shit.
So why not just bring basic materials along to see what resources you find there that would enable building a better ship?
Well, no, Tommy, we know, do you know anything? If I say I have electroscopic discovery, you know that means I know with absolute scientific certainty.
What? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I have electroscopic discovery confirmation.
Electroscopic. Okay, yeah, I got you.
Again, that means we've looked at the light, we've looked at every atom, we looked at every part of the light, measured it, and weighed it. And we determined that it weighs 21,340,000 325 pounds of gold and 5,640,327 pounds of silver. And this is from Mexico's army. We know it's from Mexico. It's also Cortez gold. And so it's that much weight. We know where it is. And I just need to go get my Bitcoins and start talking to the Admiralty of the United States Navy about doing that. Because I know you can do that where I don't have to be beholden to my buck, even though I'm going to be using this borehole to mine this shit. We really got to talk about borehole and mining operations, because I'm not sure they're supposed to go hand in hand. So if borehole can become a help to me, that's what I'd like to see happen with myself and Elon Musk.
Yeah, you need to reinforce the walls if they're going on.
Well, the borehole is supposed to make a borehole and then come back with the core. I mean, you can do that, except that I think that a lot of this gold is just in a pile that sank many times in a cave where the river is formed. So it might be covered in water. And where it is formed, Tommy, is over a river that formed in a fjord as the Santa Maria, the Santa Anita ran into.
A fjord, and it's F-J-O-R-D?
We ran aground on a fjord that was part of the ice and just become part of the ice. So it is by the shore, Tommy. It is the shore. Did you know that?
I hear you. Yeah, I hear it now.
And so if
I was asking on the clarification of fjord, that is spelled F-J-O-R-D, right?
Yeah, so I need electroscopic discovery to be possible for us at a moment's notice, and I think I can swing that with Neuralink, because Neuralink can be programmed to teach.
So you're going to put the scope on the board.
Yeah, I'm going to put the scope on board. I'm going to say, scope, show me the largest gold by. Oh, it's way underneath there, man. Way underneath there. It's almost on the surface of the floor.
That's pretty deep.
It's the deepest part of the South Pole. I failed to mention this is in the Antarctic now.
How deep exactly does it say?
Like they said, you actually go a bit west of the Cape of Good Horn. Not is further east of that than that. As you go, it is in the line of being just past the Cape of Good Horn, but if you had a big ship, you'd never try to go to Cape of Good Horn if you're going next to New York City or Mexico or doing that line. Anyway, do you want to help with this one then?
How can I help? How can I help, first of all?
Well, I want to sell 25th, which are 4% stakes. And I want to sell them personally to Mr. Trump, Donald Trump.
You want to sell what?
I want to sell 20 cents. I want to sell 20 cents.
What are you saying? Tips? What are you saying? I can't understand.
20 cents. 25. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so 26 and 4%. And I just want to know how much you think sticks to the net worth of Donald Trump is, because I know approximately how much he's worth, but I want to see what you thought he was worth. So what do you think a sixth of the Donald Trump would be? Because that's the price of one of these 25th, is whatever that turns out to be.
A fifth or a sixth, I'd say Donald Trump is probably worth I'd say somewhere around 200 billion. Realistically.
I know where it's at, but I can't really comment about that on this subject, because that would be too authoritative and I know too much about the subject. But you're not far off. Yes, it's different, yes, it's lower. That's what I can say.
Well, people don't understand the scale of money very well.
He's been doing very well. He gets six. He gets, he's 107.
Man, I had a nice meal and I ruined it. I had this garlic butter left over and I put this garlic butter from Pizza Hut on it. I don't know what I was thinking, and it just ruined everything. Tell me about what you want me to do with the rights.
Tommy, did any of those drugs that were in my dissertation sound good?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a controversial issue on having a drug that would cause you to live forever. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily like...
If you can get it sick, you can't die.
No, you specifically said many times, speaking dissertation. Let's see.
Well, I may have hummed enough side to whether it's true. I think it's true that a negative percent of impervious immortality is trying to stop you from ever getting sick.
Well, that's one thing, but the way you said it is...
That's it, bro.
Immortality is one thing. Not being sick is something different.
No, they're not any different.
I would use the word immune.
Not being able to get sick, not passing on sickness, it stops with you once you take that. No one you know or who's ever in your family will ever get sick as long as you take that.
That's not immortal, that is immune.
That is immortal. Consider immortality.
Oh, immortal is living forever. Immune is not being susceptible to sickness, which is what you're saying. You're talking about immunity, not? immortality.
Spirit, immortal. Immortality also means you haven't been sick in the last 7 years when you're over the age of 31. Or you're over the age of 35 and can yawn. It means you're
Immortality. Mortality is life, Beau. Mortality is life.
You can be immortal if you follow what I'm saying, dude. Take impervious and give yourself 2 hemoglobin sacks and then take immortality serum for $40 a month the rest of your life. It costs $1,500 the first 2 times. I want to charge that to each person in the United States only once, and then get the government to pay the next $1,500. And once they do that, they need hemoglobin sac replacement therapy. It's over the age of 35, and if under the age of 35, it's not really required until 35, but it can be purchased at the age of 18 or something. But once you do that and you get the year 0 cell in you, which is doing after you've taken your impervious and haven't had.
So what happens to pharmaceutical companies?
Well, they become performance enhancers and pain relievers. And that's all. There's no maintenance on a case.
No, I'm talking about the pharmaceutical.
There's not even diabetes, Tommy.
So what happens to pharmaceutical companies?
It don't exist. I mean, I'm the pharmaceutical company that should exist.
Don't you think you're going to have someone fighting you? I mean, this is exactly what I was doing to the real estate stuff, and we were very worried.
How many you got to share? Why do you need anything else? Excuse me.
Because someone will stop you. Someone won't like it. You will get in someone else's checkbook who's making money, and they're not going to like it too much, and they will do everything they can to stop you.
And I had to explain to Tom's worst nightmare was losing half to Melania. I was losing half to the mom. And I'm telling you, that's what's supposed to happen.
I'm just saying, if you eliminate a huge sector of money, I will tell you like this. So in real estate, before I was working in actual real estate, we started a company called Keep Us Out.
I used to go with my guy, Dave Cummings, who's going to fly you someplace. And
you don't like to listen, do you?
I need to know you can speak Wall Street, dude. And I don't think you
speak Wall
can.
Street very well.
I don't think you do, because if you don't notice, I'm speaking 385 billion pills a day at $755 a pill. How much money am I talking about, bro? Okay,
I'm not in that mindset to start doing calculations and that, so if I want to be there, I'll get there. But right now, I'm not in that mind state to start pumping numbers through my brain. That's not where I'm at right now.
Hey, I had 385 billion on Monday.
I'm qualitating. I'm qualitating right now. I'm not quantitating.
378 billion on Wednesday, and how many hundreds of billions did I do? 427 billion is what their 25 is fucking telling me today. That's fucking
Those
awesome.
are numbers. Those are numbers. I'm not into numbers right now.
It's not even Friday yet. Oh yeah.
Logic and reasoning.
$776 on that. Fuck yeah. Overall for 776. That's nice. That's nice. 776. 1.21444 E16. So after this 0.21444, keep going 15 more decimals after there, the decimal point.
You're not accounting.
444. and I get
You're not
a
accounting
6.
for anything else.
A 6 is a more rational number. It's 2,240,700,000,000.
There's in a perfect world.
2,024,070. 2,024,000,000.
In a perfect world,
Yeah. It's 2.02407 E14. Would you be able to read that if you learned how to type on a calculator with the calculator that you're gonna know by hand perfectly?
I can learn everything very fast.
Tommy, you need to do me a favor and buy the BA2 Financial 2 Plus calculator.
Buy it for me.
What?
Buy it for me. If you need me to have it, buy it for me.
Oh, I'm looking this up. You need it, Tommy, because it's the only way you can do math in the modern world is what I'm finding. And it's the only way in math that you can enforce the contracts, because they can go back and look at what you're calculating.
Can I not download it in an app?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the app in the App Store. I forgot where I put my App Store. Up in App Store. I can't get to my App Store. I don't know where my App Store is. Oh, there's the iTunes Store. It's not there.
What kind of calculator is it? What's it called?
BA
B?
plus
BAN plus?
BA Fin 2 Plus. Fin II plus financial calculator.
Yeah. B, so Bravo, India, November, November plus? Plus? Or V?
Where's my App Store? Where's my App Store? I'm having problems finding my App Store.
I don't know.
I think they bought my App Store. Find the App Store. I can't go. Finally found the App Store. Yeah, you use this fucking on that.
Calculator, scientific,
BA and
B. Hold on.
II.
Phonetically. Spell it phonetically.
BA.
That's not phonetic. B, Bravo is B. I is indigo. N is November. Spell it phonetically.
Fin.
Okay, how do you spell that?
Financial calculator. Hold on, I'm trying to think. Just let me try to think so I think. Okay. Yeah, I was in the App Store. How I was in the App Store. BA.
There's a BA financial calculator.
Yeah.
BA22 plus simulator. Oh, this is like a TI-83, a TI-85.
Yeah, the BA Finance Plus is what you want.
Okay.
BA Finance Plus.
BA financial calculator, the BA II plus emulator, BA financial calculator. Yeah, get it for free right there. Boom. Yes, I do know how to use it.
This isn't crazy. There's no way to say. BA Finance Plus, is that the name of the app you're downloading?
BA financial calculator.
No. BA Finance Plus. You have to have BA Finance Plus to get it in your town.
It does. It is the
if you're not
name of it is the, listen to me. This is called the
how do you calculate it, Tommy? This way, recall and store.
BAII plus emulator.
1. When you get an answer to the next part of the question, store. 2. When you get an answer to the final part of the question, store. 3. Do something three, recall three.
Yeah,
Do
this
something
is the VA financial calculator.
Do something with one, recall one. And you're done.
Yep, that's what I got.
Guys, I need to give you some CFA curriculum quantitative examinations, and then I'll do them with you. I'll try and find the correct answers as I see them, and then I'll let you do them. And then it'll be up to me to check with someone what the correct answers are in quantitative analysis. And not all the answers are going to be there. And it's not like I'd buy a Q bank just to prove that I was a quantitative. If you had to read the questions that go in level 2 CFA curriculum textbook, you would not ask me whether I see myself as God. It's arrogance. No, it's arrogance to think someone that studies as much as I have isn't God. It's an insult to the man's intelligence. Making a fuel rod that's 75 times better than uranium that God can do in the first place is one of the greatest accomplishments of my lifetime. And I did it concurrently winning a Nobel Prize. And I'm hoping they give me a Nobel Prize for the fuel rod and the enhancements. And the brutal cost to see of getting it in the kilo class. The fucking scourge of not being able to do 500 knots above water at 9,000 feet. And the kilo is one impenetrable thing for me. I thought we'd be able to get rid of kilos sometime shortly after we started the war. We didn't get rid of them until sometime during the Ukrainian war coming, the kilo class. We didn't destroy all of them until just recently during Ukraine. And now the only things that are left are tourists and tycoons, and China's not making the stupid spritz fire, whatever they're fucking dragging spritz fire or whatever, which is a bigger version of their big ship. And submarine companies can't make a carrier do. I got one of their pilots to defect and become $1 million a 5-year career man for an airline company. And so they let him fly for 5 years already. And this is like 5 years ago, tell me when this happened. They tried to fly a carrier, and a carrier had crashed 6 or 5 of their first 5 pilots. And the pilots were still asked to go on these suicide missions where their carriers can't plumb bob, and stay straight over the water, just straight over the water. And that's why. Are you playing with your new calculator?
Not yet, I've used, basically the same thing before.
Yeah. Seriously, I need to send you a picture of mine. This is what mine looks like. That's how much I made today. How much is mine? And so much I owe my wife. So first one, how much I made, and then next one, how much I owe my wife.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So I see 1.92286. E14. Now, is that 14 digits past the last 6, or is that all together after the decimal?
Decimal point, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Past the decimal point.
Okay. And are those zeros or nines? Well,
that's a 9.
Zeros or 9s, and then a last digit would be something different.
So this would be 1,942,860,000,000.
Okay.
See the 14 string.
Yeah.
Starts at 14. 13 is still 100 billion. Remember that.
So 1.9 trillion.
Yes, is how much I made in 4 days selling 385 billion pills per day. On 6 of the sale revenue. I get 6 of the sale revenue. And so your next one is 5,166,666.66. 5,166,666,666.70. Thanks, and I thank you. She made a $35 million investment that I told her was going to do this, and I just can't thank her enough. Erica, I love you.
But where's the money?
Oh, Wolinsky crying. Thank you. That's how
Where's the
I own
money?
her for $5 million investment. She got 40th. In that business, there's 40th. She got 1/40th. So 0.025 is at 1.8. Two is how much I get. And she's supposed to get 560 billion, 166,663,666.
But when does that come through?
70 cents. What?
I said, but when does that come through? When is it realized?
Oh. Well, we know our damn results at the end of the day. She's going to add up the 385.
I understand, but when is that money available?
It's available. Tommy, here's what's happened. In my NIH contract, when I first started, all we get for 10 years is the average of the first 2 years of doctoring. Mine was very good. I made $2.3044 billion in revenue, $43,200 a patient, times 54,500 patients. I get 70% of the 2-year average of that monthly. So whatever.
Here's what I'm saying, is this, like, I worked for someone before.
Here's what happens when I start.
You're not letting me ask my question. I need to ask you a question.
After 10 years has gone by, Tommy, sometime around the 8th year, there's an option for me to start choosing either a faster payout or a higher long-term return or a higher shorter-term return. I'm choosing the higher shorter-term return. And so what I'm telling you is that pays out your 1-year average over the last 10 years and will always be the 1-year average. And these are based on sales qualifications. If you're selling as many pills as I am, as popular as my pills are, I hope they don't lead to addiction, but I know the people that need my drugs are people who need drugs. Okay? Cocaine, Cianosine, XR is a great drug, Tommy.
You're not answering my question, though.
40 milligrams, 20 milligrams Cianosine, 40 milligrams XR powder. It's great shit. And when you became Frosty, that is that fentanyl to it, you say Frosty, Blue Skin.
I'm not asking the question. Why are you dragging me between qualifying and quantifying? Listen, what I want to know is simple. Like, I'll put it like this. I worked for someone one time, and they made a lot of money. And they said, if you ever want to see if I'm telling you the truth or if I'm lying about anything, I mean, he made a lot of money. He said, just ask me. He said, I'll show you my deposit slips. I will bring you my deposit slips. And he did. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can say one thing.
I'm going to have a permanent list of all my transactions made one day, all my CQQs, CQQQ, LDQID trades, all have
That's one day.
Into a proofreader format where basically you're just given all my trades from wealth signals and figure that they were no different. It's not significantly different than they weren't any different by 1 or 2 days from what's presented. And so I have the ability to show off lots of money because I named it, Tommy. People were stealing from these naked. And somehow they found it in their heart to just give up, get in some weird shootout with the police where they pretended they got into the shootout to excuse themselves from having to open a certain cellar drawer where they kept their native encrypted decoder token. And this is a really fancy weighted key that requires an econometric lock to open. And so the econometric lock is set to be your hand or your palm or your eye. And so you can't withdraw any money unless you have that and the master password. False.
Yeah, that's cryptography.
And I know it's in master this time, but there's two levels of master is what I mean to imply about that. There's a master cryptographer, which will get you to the stage of requesting money. And then there's a master unlock, which in the case of Satoshi, receiving 19,000 digits to my 15,000 digits, and our lawyer's 19,000 digits therefore, he was the one responsible for giving the people their money back from using his strategy in illegal Bitcoin, foreshadowing and subshadowing, shadowing, subshadowing, and foreshadowing, foreshadowing with downshadowing, downshadowing with foreshadowing, maintained the value of Bitcoin perfectly by flip, 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 flip. I can figure out if there is a flip within 5 seconds of that flip, that there will likely be an up move in the next tick. So Bitcoin figured that out, and it made it possible for people to make infinite money shorting stocks and buying it back to fractions of a penny lower with infinite leverage. That's why the fluctual system works so well in Bitcoin. And does your calculator look like that, Tommy? Are you able to take snapshots like that? Well, send me a screenshot.
Yeah, I was reading reviews. Yeah, it does. But I was reading reviews that financial calculators, they process information differently than a non-financial calculator.
Tommy, you have to show me you have the same keyboard as me for us to be able
Oh, here, I'll send you a picture then. That's simple, though. There's no need to talk too much about it. Hold on.
Because I don't want to work with you. But I know I can see Tommy's calculation.
There you go. Let me send this picture.
I'm going to take a stick to 200 million.
Well, let's keep the conversation to pertinent things that we're working on, trying to accomplish.
$30 billion.
Okay, cool. I sent you a picture of the calculator.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah, this is the modern one that they have. You're going to have little problem using it. Do you understand how to use the wine in the
Well, I've used this calculator before, yes, I understand.
Okay, I didn't know if the financial calculator had ever been used by you, but yeah, that's exactly.
I don't know, that was just a review, so that's not like certified information.
It's not the BA2 Financial Plus. It's not the BA Financial Plus, but it is the BA2 Financial Plus.
So, anyway,
I don't have cosine, sine, and sine. I don't have sine, cosine, and tangent on mine. It's the only difference.
Huh, I've always used those. We had to use those in like 8th grade or 7th grade.
Wait, I have to do the same in a different way.
Oh, okay.
The parentheses over the sine and the parentheses over cosine. Why the X tangent?
You probably have the same thing. differently
Thank you.
programmed.
Thank you. Yeah. It is weird. Yeah, but this must be what the new financial team class looks like.
Yeah, this is like a TI-83 almost, except without the screen.
No, don't ever call it that. It's not that bad. It's for 40. No graphic calculator. No TI without graphic calculator functionality can ever be over a 40. So it's a BA2 financial plus calculator.
Okay, so what I have is good, right?
Well, I want you to try practicing some numbers.
Okay, go ahead.
Why don't we just numbers? Okay? I already have my numbers entered, so I'm going to have you practice entering 4 numbers, 1 through 4.
Sure.
Okay?
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then the first number is number 1. 385 billion.
What are you talking about? You said enter 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, stored in 1. This first number, 385 billion.
You want me to store that?
Yeah. Good. I want to show you how to use the calculator. So first type, 685 billion.
685 or 100?
385 billion.
Okay, 385 billion. So 3. Oh, I'm on my picture. Hold on. Not in that.
How many?
Beau, do you think I'm dumb, man? Dude.
I know, but you're dealing more with entering a number than storing a number. Press STO and then the number 1, and that stores your 385 billion. STO is on the bottom left. And then you're going to press 1 next to it. That puts it in 1. STO is only to be pressed 1. To store, whenever you press that, will go from that.
My calculator will only go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 digits.
Yeah, there's a 0 down there.
So I can't get to 385 billion.
Yes, you can, Tommy. We're only talking about saving the number 1 spot at 385 billion.
Okay, so 385 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0. Yeah, I can only type 10 digits.
So enter the 10 digits and then times 10 times 10. That's all you have to do.
That gives me 3.85 to the 11.
2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so you're going to do that. 10. That's 10.
Okay. 3.85 to the 11th, and now you want me to store this. So I'm going to hit second. No, I'm not going to hit second. I'm just going to hit store. 1. Okay, so I've stored 1, I think.
And what's the value of that?
3.85 space 11.
You hit RTL, and then the number 1 when you want to know.
Yeah, recall 1. Yep.
Yeah, so we're recalling what? 385 billion, right?
Yep, we have that set. I just recalled it. Yep.
Okay, and 3.85 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But it's 3.85 to the 11.
That's, yeah, 3.85 to the 11. I wish mine would say that, but mine doesn't. Mine doesn't format. Okay, next value is 375 billion.
Billion?
Yes.
Okay. 385.
Times 10. Good. 0.75. And to the 11. And in the X to the 11.
What was the number again?
You did 3.75 times.
Oh, 3.75. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. Oh, I got it.
Or you can 10 times that here. Then store that in 2.
So we're going to store that in 2. Okay, go ahead. Oh, hold on. I got that up.
3.
Resolve 2. Hold on. 10 times 10 equals, and we'll store that as 2. Okay, go ahead.
Number 2 is 378 billion. You store it
You said
3.75.
375, though. You keep changing numbers.
No, this one is 378 billion.
Okay, let me clear that. So, 378.
Computer through.
Times 10. It's okay. It's done. It's done. 378.
Times
10.
first.
There we go. We're going to store that as 2. Okay. Okay, what next? What next?
When you store that as 3, the last one we're going to do.
Store 2. Beau, you are all over the place, dude.
You store 3.
Oh, hush. Just hush. Listen. 1 is 3.85 to the 11th. 2 is 3.78 to the 11th.
Again, where you have 3.75 to the 11.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So let me fix that, Beau. Hush. 3.7. Hush. Hush. Dude, Beau, hush.
3.85 cents to the 11. And the salt.
The whole Beau, I did not say continue. And we're going to store that as
42.
And then, what did you say, 378 is number 3?
Yes.
Okay, now hold on. Then we're going to store that as 3. Okay, 378 is stored as 3. 375 is stored as 2. And 385 is stored as 1.
Okay, this is your last one. It goes to 4. It's 427 billion. And we need to analyze these last 4 names, which include how many billions of pills we should be selling when we include that arbitrage has provided us from a production standpoint of 150 billion pills of these. The rest is trade and arbitrage. Then we're only making about 150 billion of these pills physically, and the other we're just able to pick up from the fact that we're able to deliver multiple nations worth of current of this stuff, which has now reached the market price in the United States that's commensurate, and I find handling any straight drink. You can stop eating a drink with my drugs. It is a fun high. Cocaine, ciametine, XR, frosty, powder, is fentanyl, 2 nanograms.
What the fuck are you saying fentanyl into?
And 40 milligrams of cocaine. It's FDA approved and will relieve all depression. And pain relief is not its main objective, it's to make you feel happy and high. Having ciametine, mainly releasing the feeling of wanting to feel high, than without actually making you high.
You don't think fentanyl is more of a risk?
It doesn't sound like it down when you're taking cocaine with ciametine. Is that ciametine lets you down because it hasn't actually done anything. Make you happy, just make you happy because it was there. It's an antidepressant that when it's involved in making your depression go away, it releases pain. it's an antidepressant. It's pain reliever. Is pain relief. And that's how it works. The only drug we're telling. Would you like to hear the formula for the antidote?
And that's basically psychopharmaceutical.
Yes, the antidote formula. SDHNOA3, HTFN, HTO3, better TFN, HTSN, 03, HTFN, HTO3, NO3. So I added NO3 to this HTNO3, and it takes ass. I added more NO3 to an HTNOH.
So let me ask you this. You're pumping this thing full of narcotics that are flagged for abuse. Who's monitoring it?
The FDA.
No, I mean, you have patients. I mean, they have...
The whole nation serves my medication at the demand of Gregory Fauci. And they are particularly hated nations. They're poor nations. They don't have anything else to do with their money. So they'll just give it to me and pay ransom. Here's ransom for their funds. And once they're free, pile up with more addicted people. I hope the people who do become addicted to my medications are still able to function in society. You should still be able to function in society.
Anyone with an addiction that can be fulfilled function in society.
Vicodin and Ritalin that we're now selling, because not everyone needs Vicodin, Propylene XR, or Vicodin Ritalin. That's what
I agree. We send people up the wall.
Concern us. So I have a little game to play with you, Tommy. Why don't you let me design your Amazine? Amazine comes with 20 milligrams Amazine base, 20 milligrams of your preferred of concerted propylene or cocaine, or 2 10-milligram doses of your choice of propylene, concerted, or cocaine.
What are you trying to do, Beau? Are you trying to produce designer drugs to push through big pharma?
I don't have to prepare cookies, Amazine, and concerted for you. But I would ask some questions related to your concern for concentration, related to concern for pain relief, or
you would have to do that for any prescription of a pain reliever.
40 milligrams cocaine, 20 milligrams Amazine, 2 milligrams fentanyl, if you need it. You can order from me with fentanyl, without fentanyl. Charging for fentanyl doesn't really affect the price. Whether it has fentanyl or not.
It sounds like what you're trying to do is open up a pharmaceutical company, a pharmaceutical lab, to design and develop a mixture of...
Tommy, you're doing it for me. What do you think these numbers I'm reading to you are? Let's do a calculation. Have you entered 427 billion into your recall 4?
Yep.
Okay, now I want you to do something. From recall 4 is when you do it. And you say, plus, do this as fast as me. Plus, recall 3, plus, recall 2, plus, recall 1. I get 1.565 trillion. Can you say
I get 1.565 trillion. Or 1.565 to the 12.
Yes. Yes. And that's still 1,565 billion. You can't see the commas, can you? You can't see the commas, can you?
No.
You can't see the commas for the separated.
That's correct. I get 1 point. Look, I'm just going to send you a picture. Here you go. Here you go. Make it simple. Messages. Boom. Boom. There There you go. I sent you a picture. I sent you a picture. I sent it to you in iMessage.
Yeah, you can't use this in cafe curriculum textbooks. This wouldn't be useful to you. Or you've got to change the settings on this to display the numeric value better. Because this is in scientific, and if it's just going to give you scientific, we're going to have a problem.
I don't see where I can set this up any different unless I do format.
Let's see format.
Maybe format or set.
It's just a way for me to draw scientific online, but I never have. Because it's not very convenient to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, memory reset processing.
Anyway, Tommy, yeah, is that where you're at 1.565 billion?
For the 12. Yep.
Okay, multiply by 775, and that's how much I made.
So 1.212875 to the 15th.
Let me make sure it does. What the hell did my... What is that? What is my phone? I want this to something. 1.18158 and the 15.
What did you tell me to multiply it by?
Either 50.
What? Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm saying the number 1.565 trillion and $755. It's
$755. Hold on. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I'm at 1.565 to the 12. What would you like me to multiply that by? 700 what?
about $775.
775.
A number, and you tell me, read fully out loud, is that. Don't read me decimals that you're not sure. I want you to read me
I'm reading you what's on my screen, Beau. 1.212875 to the 15th.
Oh, very good. You got your format reading 9 decimals. That's pretty good.
I can read 10 digits. So, yes, 9 decimals.
There we go. 9 decimals. 1.2128.
Unless, Beau, a number is a 5-digit number, then I would only have 8 decimals.
It's a little bit of knowledge. You understand that if someone said you get a 6 of all revenue,
A 6.
that means you can divide this whole number by 6 because it represents the whole pie.
A 6. Yes, Beau. So, you're talking like second grade.
Divide by what's the number?
What?
Divide by 6. Pronounce that number.
Yeah, okay, so we'll say we'll divide by 6. What's the point of this, dude? This is like second grade shit, dude. So divide by 6. Okay, I divided by 6.
Okay, now pronounce that number. It starts with 2 trillion.
2.021458 to the 14th.
Number out loud. Read this number out loud. The 9 decimals. Read this number out loud. It starts with 2 trillion. 2 trillion. 21 billion. 458 million. 333,300.
I don't have all that.
Okay,
Well,
I can read it. Yeah.
so my calculator says this. So, listen. My calculator says, I'm gonna get off the phone, Beau. If you're not gonna listen, I'm gonna get off the phone.
5% and multiplying by 0.95. Because that is what
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about. The 2 people own 1/40th of my earnings. Who contributed $50 million during the time of need to be able to make this happen. I had to multiply by 0.05 and then divide by 2 to see what I owe both of them. And if I just want to see what's mine, I can multiply this value by 0.95. So which would you like to see, Tommy?
I can do them both. It's very simple.
Yeah. Okay.
So, let's 0.95 dividing 0.05.
And I'm just in my calculator. That wouldn't let me do it. I forgot what that was. 1, 5, 6, 5, 7, 7. And then 200. I don't know.
I gave an hour, Beau. How long is it on phone call?
Eric,
I'm on my phone call, an hour and 12 minutes. Wrap it up in 5 minutes.
How much did each investor in the A share of Astra Capital Pharmaceutical Producers earn today? Now you just multiply.
You gave me an if and what? You gave me an if and what statement. So,
Yeah. How many investors were there? There were 2 investors, 40 into the company.
and they are at so you are 6%. That's your take home, and then out of that they're getting 0.05%, and they're splitting that 0.05%, right?
I mean, I think it's like 17%.
Dude, I asked you a simple fucking question, Beau.
I know, and they're getting 5% of mine, not of the whole thing.
Yeah, that is exactly what I said. If you would listen, Beau, you would understand.
Quit
Just thinking and talking.
Listen. Hey, you multiply by 0.025 or 0.05. The value.
I don't know how to do the math, Beau. It's not hard.
I'm not talking about math. I just want you to know what answer you get. How much do I own Erica today? Is that much?
How much do you have what?
How much do I owe Erica if she owns 1 A share? That's 2.5.
Okay, just hold on. I'll tell you. Okay, you asked me something. Now wait. All right. So my numbers start with.
Oh gosh.
So I'm at 2.200. Okay, Beau, hush. And we're going to. You're at your 6, so we start over at that's your share. And then you will divide, or will multiply by 0.05.
So much I owe two people, my wife, my good friend.
So I understand. I'm talking to myself, not you.
But my drugs are kicking ass in Nicaragua. Like government subsidies are likely in the area. Government subsidies are actually expensive.
Okay, so the other, so that is that. That puts it at.
But yeah, Tommy, there's tons of African nations that are just buying my shit wholesale. And they're doing a wild job of distributing it. They don't seem to have any things.
Okay, so you owe 5.053646 to the 12 to whoever you said.
Yes. Yes. I went down from 6 on 580. 333.
Yes, that's simple. You don't need a scientific calculator to do that.
Oh,
Well,
why don't
to do
you
the
print
simple.
out how much I owe Erica and Bill Gates? Once you pronounce it.
I'm not, Bo. It's been an hour. I have other things to do now. It's been over an hour. I have to get off
This
the
has
phone.
been the point of the conversation for me to get here and ask you, can you read the answer that we got for how much Bill owes Erica today?
Yeah,
in the
I
last
just
quarter?
gave it to you.
Read it again in your own voice. What you would say to a boss about I owe this in blood, Tommy. It isn't like if I get this money, I can avoid paying this. If I get this
So
money,
12 is 12 decimal points. So that's going to be, that's going to be 700,000, million, billion. So I would say 505, well no, it's going to be around, it's going to be around $5 billion.
Starts with 5 trillion. I need you to say this number, Tommy. Starts with 5 trillion. And I need you to be able to say the number.
No. You hold on, because I need to tell you something and you need to explain it. It's very simple, though. So the number on my calculator right now is 5.053646 to the 12th. Now, we have a 5 point something. So that's going to tell me it's going to be 5 and then 12 digits.
Say the 10 billion. Give the next digit. Say the 100 million. Give the next 3 digits. Say the 100,000. Say the single digits. Then 0.0 something. But you could also stop when you got past 5.
Let me just look at it. This will go up better than you trying to explain it. This will be a lot better than you trying to explain it. Just hold on, bro. Just hold on.
646.
Just hold on. You're just rambling, dude. 5.0536. 5.0536.
Right now, 8 plus 12. And you'll see how many more digits there
Okay,
are.
cool. Hold on.
It's on 5,645,833,333
Yeah, bro, I don't care right now. Hold on.
Imagine having a lover who's got that much faith in you from the start. From the start, she had that much faith in me, bro. I just had to tell her I was the #1 high school student in academic team subjects. Voted the best player on academic team subjects in the entire United States. I made County High School fucking famous. God damn it, they'll never have anyone do that again. No matter how much you want to say, there's something like that out there. Of these games that I played in the future problem solving, where it's just that. They were games. They weren't meant to be won. The teacher did not expect games. And I'm the only one that was maybe at varsity in the consecutive years I played. I was basically just the same or as good in my senior year at varsity. We did not. And that was because too much of the game had lost its route and rebound. So, what do you think I should want to pay you for someone who's never paid me $35 million? What do you think you ought to think for me?
Hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know, that little bit.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, okay. Let's stop with 6. 4.
I think that's how these old age are buying my products. Like, they're buying them in large quantities. Like, whatever dollars I'm making, and it does not matter to the nations that are buying that product. In Amsterdam, I bet these are selling exceptionally well. Cocaine, CMC, Vicodin and XR, Vicodin and Concerta, Vicodin, Vicodin, Vocalin, and cocaine, CMC, XR, cocaine, XR, CXR, and SCXR, Roxy, cocaine, XR, which just has one more nanogram of cocaine in it. So I've got a bag that's going to be making a 1 more nanogram of fentanyl dose. And it's alright to have fentanyl, is what I found out, Tommy, is that you have to have it in order for the cocaine to work. Do you know that, Tommy?
No, but I'll read your number back to you now. It's going to be, it's going to be, so that's sort of 12, this is 11, 9 billion. It's going to be 5 trillion, 53 billion, 646 million dollars.
Yes. There you go, Tommy. There you go.
Okay, done. Got it.
But you know, if you had more decimals to reveal there would be some rounding errors.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. If it exceeded, if the decimal placement exceeded the number of digits available, yes, I understand.
Yeah. So you know there's more. It's 5, 8, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. It's a less than number. It's not.
Yeah, then it would be 5 point whatever 4. Or no, it'd be 3 because we round down. Yeah, I got you. Yep, I got it, Beau. That's my nickname in the military. I got it.
But Tommy, I need to look at LA and other states for me.
I can't hear you, Beau. You're mumbling.
I I need you to find people you can just pretend to be working with and pick off in other states and pretend like you're a real estate agent for me when I'm an SRO and I don't need the real estate of my piece of my real estate.
Well, but I still can't understand you. Type what you need me, type what you're trying to say, because your voice is going out. Type what you need and I'll look at it. But I gotta get off here. I gotta take care of stuff. I got stuff I need to do for myself right now.
Have you read that text one time?
Hi, Dave. I'm dealing at 9X, COMEX, and I for the CFTC, exempt TTA, CPO, SRO, CEO, SROR, self-regulatory organizer, you spelled operators wrong, of operators, chief executive officer, operator on Neuralink, which lets me see prices without any one of my participants having to place the trade themselves, and other than being government agencies handling money such as Gazprom or Aramco, that has been receiving $1,517 per barrel in recent reverse silent double Dutch auctions on the KCS EBDOT, and I need to know if you can handle maritime responsibility for shipments on trades made in the KCS EBDOT, which I get at $200,000 per hour blank escort cost for a 24-hour trip hauling and 16-hour trip back. Have delivery times no more than 29 days long, but I just broke that rule, delivering 17 billion ounces of silver at $65 per ounce to COMEX, at 12% me and 18% of them such as that. I still have to charge their 18%, at least 12% of that 18%, but they're the ones who need kickbacks for all the nuclear fissioning, atomization to make room for, get this, 40 years of oil in a year and a half is coming, and this is peak oil days coming, bro. Anyway, I am Vice Chairman of Neuralink and Chairman of SpaceX Partnerships Corporate Management. I can get you shares of the IPO for, if you're game, to play tag along. Yesterday was, period, for a bid of 3/5 of the company, and they didn't tell me that because it is assumed under reverse silent double Dutch auction that there is always going to be, oh, this is too long, I'm not reading all that.
Oh, this is what happened, dude. This is everything what happened. The 100% of the equity in the corporation was to put 2, 3 cents allocations on board for one.
Yeah, I'll read it, but I'm not going to sit here and read it out loud.
He uses me on the free short. We'll let you do that because it's being recorded on the phone. I'll do that for our listeners. You don't have to listen to them. You not only go from 127 to 199%, on my expense for 192. Was the winning second highest bid for 3 cents. The winning
my phone is just like literally dying now.
Out having used the RFCDA auction to place my 175 outstanding representative on the ship.
Oh, I can read it.
It's fucking wrong. I'm sorry, dude. I had no idea. But thank you for reading to there. That was good for an ADD or ADHD person, dude. You follow what I was trying to explain to him?
Yeah, I'm and everything, but I'll finish reading this. Anyway, my phone is about to die, bro, and I need to use my phone. So I'm gonna have to be tethered for a while. So,
Can we talk tomorrow this long? I mean,
what?
can we talk tomorrow for this long? And let's spend 10 minutes washing out what we did today. So we talked about mostly what's going on with me. And I didn't
talk
have
about Beau. Let's start out like this. No, I'm good at this. First of all, we talked about the Santa Ana Marina or whatever, right? And so, we had a whole long conversation about something, and then when we picked back up, we talked about Santa Ana, and then after that, we basically moved into a calculator, and we went over that for an hour, and I asked you some questions about showing me money. Like, I've had a boss that said, I make this much money. If you don't believe I'm making this much, I'll show you my pay stuff. And you didn't really address any of that. And I asked you when do you get that money? And you explained to me you had an option. to make, in like 8 years or something, or however long left, and at that point you would get to choose whether you wanted more up front or, equaled out over a longer period of time. So my memory is...
What had to happen for me to get paid from these pills is that's what after we average the first 2 years and multiply by 70% to get the monthly value I'm supposed to receive, we have to average out the next 10 years how much service I've done and how much doctoring I've done and how much medications I've sold. Like the medications sold were no different.
I get it. You're qualifying your
patient.
patient.
Average into a year-long salary that gets paid once. And then once it gets paid once, that could be at the end, it could be a millionaire, it could be at the beginning of the year, but sometime at the end of that 10 years, after I've received my $70 million.
Beau, listen to me real quick. Listen.
500 pages.
Listen to me, okay? Listen, this is something that I've learned, okay? And it doesn't have to do with numbers and all that. This is simple human how we are, okay? Hush, Beau, hush. I'm gonna hang up. If you're not gonna hush, I'm just gonna hang up. I'm trying to tell you something important. As humans, we can afford around an hour of time of constant information before we need to take a break, or we have a little bit of time to digest that information. If you don't do that, you overload and you don't remember anything. I'm a little bit special. I can go for an extremely long period of time, but I'm not in that mood right now. It's better to use an hour of time and get out what needs to be done, and then we talk about what we missed and the other things we need to talk about. That's why you talk about the important things at first.
I didn't try to speak over you or ahead of you or against you or ahead of you and more.
Go ahead, what did you say?
I didn't mean to sound like I was trying to be more of a superior in any way. But
no, it's okay. I just want you to know that it's, we're at that time limit in my mind, there's not much more I'm going to get out of this. We talked about what we talked about, and it's recorded. I can listen to it. I can pick out important stuff. I'll do those things. That's simple. I'm been this type of person my whole life. I've been this person for medical centers.
I really hope I can go back and listen to this conversation and really sink my teeth into playing it for somebody.
Well, I've got it recorded, so I'll send you my recording.
Confident that the world knows who I am, and that my opinion is probably the only one that matters to God when it's all said and done. I don't even think the folks' opinion to God who gets into heaven, and I think heaven is the reward that all humans get.
Most of them. Well, I don't even know that. But anyways, so, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll send you my recording, and you send me your recording, and I'll see which one is better, okay? I just want to see the quality on them.
All right,
so I'm going to get off that. Send me the conversation when you get off the phone, and I'll check it out, and I'll send you mine, all right?
All right, bro.
All right, bro. Take care.
Tommy Parks Edwards, historian to the Nexiologian Christ. Conversation Tommy Parks Edwards IV with Avery, Beau, Wolinsky, Christ, occurring July 8th, 2022, around midnight. Then recorded 2 hours after the conversation occurred, released around 4:20 a.m. on July 9th. No, July 8th. So the conversation was on July 8th, but some parts occurred on the 7th. So I'm just going to reward you guys with your curiosity of what types of emails I send Really needed to get to this for a bid of the 3/5 of the company, and they didn't tell me that because it is assumed in a reverse solid double Dutch auction that the result is always going to be for 100% of the equity in the corporation, but they put 2 3/5 allegations on board where 1/5 was mine to offer on the short sale to Elon Musk. He uses me on the free short to not only go from 127 to 198 cent on my expense, where 192 was the winning second bid for 3/5. The winning 3/5 bid at SCPM was leaving me out, having used the RSPDA option to place my $175 outstanding represented preliminary interest, and less the 192. I told them that I thought within that below 133, nobody wants to pay that much more than this. But then I should have thought it been 301, but it's the process of adding a fifth. Look nice for every dollar SpaceX's book value goes up. I get 0.0075% divided by 360 of the company's book value every day. For life is McKinsey. Now, Dave, I have the job you really wanted, but I'm telling you, being kind to the people, you need to make sure you are my FAA protege and my assigned pilot, and I have a route from Junction City Airport to LaGuardia to Trump Hotel back home, and from Junction City, Danville, Kentucky to Anderson County Airport, Garnett, Kansas, then to Las Vegas, please. And that will be what I need us to do with Elon Musk. And if you ask nicely, I can get him to hire you as an exploratory astronaut on his way to study long-term stays and quality sleep issues for people treated for impervious immortality. So if you want to be immortal, listen to me here, Dave. All you have to do is protect your hemoglobin sacs by adding 2 or more to prevent accidental clotting collision with neutrinos that cause nearly every heart attack not related to atrial defibrillation. So as they pay me $100,000 to make you immortal, and I'll allow to charge you for the $100,000 antimatter miniaturized microchip nanorobot. You'll need to notice the deepest of breaths without having to breathe hardly at all. This procedure, once you've had it, just needs monitoring, and so long as there is at least one track or pouch, we'll try buying this nanorobot where it goes into a real tricky spot in your right atrium just before it becomes the left ventricle is at the sternum, where you must replicate your abdomen, as in chest abdomen, exact chest abdomen. So you use the stem cell it takes literally from bone spot to your spot of placement, and then places corners where the first 2 corners are corners that prepare hemoglobin to be made. And once the next 2 hemoglobin sacs that you're forming using nanofifth scale 46 1063rd nanometer technology. To float your robot into a position so as to attach to the structure desired to your body, which is a perfectly glaring and ovulating hemoglobin sac, and ensuring neurotic impulse. The computer was stunned at how quickly I solved this part of the neurological barrier problem. Simply a pigment of the neurotic impulse, a midpoint material which contracts the flap of the hemoglobin sac. It grabs and just as to unfurl, quit grabbing, to go from grab and release to furl, do nothing, to wait for the next breath. So I'm gone and prepared to hire you simply for camaraderie and transport. And that could become personal in nature, including with my fiancée, who, by the way, tending her first lady by the year, bombardment. That's, you're welcome. $40 per second to answer questions telepathically is what I'm paid on Neuralink, and you and me are financial institutions owners like myself, so cheers, Dave. And that was my letter to Dave Cummings. That was the final note that I tried to get Tommy through, but I guess Tommy would have needed at least 4 extra minutes to try and wrap his head out of a real subject that basically I just wanted to show him what I did to try to get business. But he's my FAA protege mentor, Dave Cummings. I won't take anyone else from the FAA, and he's the only person in my field who will really appreciate the work that I'm doing, and I'm sure he'll enjoy artificially exploring treasure hunting in Seawolf Galaxy subs in the Santa Ana Maria, the community in Columbus, and the Right Venture Magellan. is good. You'll be able to go far. And that's what I do, guys. Hi, you're SpaceX nuclear rocket scientist, chairman of SpaceX, chairman of Tesla, vice chairman of Neuralink, because my attorney is chairman of Neuralink, and that's to prevent a conflict of interest from the trillions of dollars that I carry with government operations. And I've sold 10 million Phoenix missiles after selling 100,000 and then 300,000 for 382,000 tank and MiG kills and using Phoenix missiles. I just recently became allowed to sell Phoenix missiles for Boeing, and they're what I recommend for the F-32 and UH-72. UH-72s need at least 8 on each side, and what I mean by that is an 8 Gatling Phoenix missile program that allows you to launch 8 Phoenix missiles from each wing. Very, very precisely. So that's 16 kills from one plane. You don't need more than 2 or 3 of these to win a lot of your wars, guys. So the fact that I sold $10 million and $108,000 per missile, per Phoenix missile, is why I'm supposed to get $180 billion. I don't know when Neuralink plans to actually pay me. That's what this gambling thing is for me. I keep doing good work in the eyes of God. I made a uranium fuel rod inferior by creating anti-hydrogen, antimatter, Wolinsky positronic enhancements using electrostatic stimulation, amongst other things, positive and negative charging, and positronic sealing, using lasers and hadron collider lasers specifically. Elon, have they given you large hadrons to try sealing beyond 1,000,000 degrees? I'm asking Elon Musk something. Elon, did they use the positronic matrix to find any other way to make better enhancements to the uranium fuel rod replacements for positronic Wolinsky ions? Wolinsky ions are positronic because they are eternal blobs of electrons, and when they're electrons, never lose their ability to produce other electrons. It is a pure electron that is antimatter, antihydrogen, and only recently is now being produced in mass by CERN, and is just fixed the Large Hadron Collider. Since 2018, it has been non-operational, and we were just using the material that was collected. We had about 5 million pounds, and now they have fixed the Large Hadron Collider such that we're able to make a 25-year between charge battery for a Tesla. And that means that oil, the amount of oil and lubricant that's required of a Tesla, can easily be manufactured through green energy means, and just planting the parasite that produces oil itself is as easy as waiting 2 years by planting in an orb of blob of mud, is as simple as adding a parasite that grows into oil and waiting 2 years for it to settle. In this regard, that was a major breakthrough, finding that we could make an equivalent 70% of oil in 2 years. So oil is not going away, and the amount of oil that we can produce from this 70% sludge that is just 70% oil simply takes enhancement by enhancing the oxygen in it with methane. So some type of methane, just a little methane. I'm not talking about a lot of methane. I'm saying just a little methane somewhere in the right spot with a Tesla motor vehicle would make it incredibly powerful. So, I invented a uranium superior fuel rod called the Wolinsky Positronic Enhanced Fuel Rod. It is a Wolinsky ion. Wolinsky positrons are what creates all matter. Now that we know all matter is a Wolinsky positron, or was in a Wolinsky positronic form before formed permanently as antimatter, that the H2O that forms after the blast of the Big Bang is a cooling process that forms all other types of matter. And these types of matter that form are antimatter particles first, before cooling down into the particulate form that you see today. And no matter how it is gathered in the universe, rocks have formed way before they were ever part of this flora and fauna that we call Earth. So long as my body is happy in this lifetime, and I am selling 500 billion pills at least today, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, and my wife is getting $28 per pill up front to be able to sell that many pills. I'm supposed to wait 10 years while receiving $70 million per month from doing the miracle work of John Nash inspired work. In the sense that what was happening to most drugs was the release of the feeling of relief. We actually have found the cure. It's called impervious immortality care cure. You will never get sick ever again. You will never pass on any sickness, and you will live a perfectly endowed life and free from disease forever. Brain cancer vaccine. We encourage everyone who makes it seem like there's others in us when it's just ourselves. Because we think at the level, as a community, always thinking about what is good for ourselves is just the same as thinking about what is good for you, your own alone self. Thinking of self of course is the individual, but putting a self at the level of macroeconomic scale, the way I have. I am blessed to know Bill Gates and his AI robots that made him a significant amount of hundreds to thousands, but not tens of thousands of zeros in real life net worth. And that the methods that he used to make money, Warren Buffett just doesn't agree with having to do with your money. And so now that we're producing 500 billion pills, mainly through arbitrage, we're only producing 180 billion pills every day. But through arbitrage, it makes it seem like we're selling that many at that price. So we're getting major arbitrage opportunities out of Blue Pear Beta Centauri, Red Pineapple Alpha Centauri, cocaine C-amethine, cocaine concerta C-amethine, cocaine concerta focal and C-amethine, Vicodin XR, Vicodin concerta, Vicodin focal, and Vicodin cocaine. And all those can be made into frosty 2 nanogram. And for the purpose of this, a 3rd nanogram scale version can be used to add the remaining 2 nanograms required to knock somebody out for at least 5 hours. So simply taking 2 nanograms at a time is not what's going to knock you out. It's just going to be the use of C-amethine, cocaine, Frosty is fentanyl 2 nanograms, 20 milligrams cyanothene, and 40 milligrams cocaine is an $1,849 per hit pill. And that is one of the things I'm doing in addition to collecting the estate tax as Jesus Christ's grandson, which is 10% of the estate tax from all nations except Israel, Great Britain, and the United States. And as long as I can show 23 zeros of profit from that, the fact that I'm worth 10 to the 24th Bitcoin value is one of the reasons that I'm happy with my life. That I'm about to get my Bitcoins, and that's because Satoshi Nakamoto is going to recover them for me. And as long as he does that, I'll be pretty good. This has been a broadcast of KC Capital Management, Beau on the Media, King Christ Capital Management, Beau on the Media Ventures Corporation, VC, Waft. And I'm going to end this. It's been 2 hours, and I hope you guys understand this is how I do business. I make medications. I show you how to live with immortality as a possibility. And I also can make you live forever. And I promise you, I'll make someone live more than 150 years. Everyone who follows my procedures will live more than 150 years. Thank you.